door will go in or the other one? Okay.
Look, I have a little podium here.
Perfect. Stand right in front of the light.
Where's Davey?
Davey, come here.
Stand with us, Davey.
Di, all of you guys back there, come on. Come up here.
We are here today to file a crime report with the Clark County Sheriff's Department on the crimes that have been committed against our community. And I would like to read a statement. Hopefully it's not too long for you, but bear with me. As we have had the opportunity to reflect on the events that took place between March 26th and April 12th, 2014, we have experienced feelings of concern, confusion, fear, anger, sadness, and joy. Our peaceful community has been shaken. In many ways, we are still processing the magnitude of what took place. We ask ourselves so many questions. Did the federal government really come into the valley and terrorize our community? Did hundreds of armed forces in Red Dawn fashion lock down the hills and valleys of our peaceful home, threatening at gunpoint anyone who stepped off the paved roads with forceful and lethal action? Did we really see armed forces convoying through the streets of our town, diligently recording names and recording names and identities of anyone who glanced wrong at them or opposed them in any way? Was there really heavy equipment in the form of a dump truck and backhoes on our mountains, tearing up infrastructure that we have used for hundreds of years and is vital to our survival? Were we truly in the crosshairs of snipers and under surveillance by the latest technology of weapons? Did these forces actually point their rifles in the faces of our little children while beating down their unarmed fathers to the dirt and hauling them off in chains? Did they really body slam our friend, a 59-year-old woman, to the ground and sick German shepherds on our neighbors, even a pregnant woman? Did they actually shock a man multiple times with a 50,000-volt taser for honorably protecting his aunt while she gathered herself off the dust? We reflect in sadness and awe that this could take place in our little town. The terror of armed men occupying our land will never be forgotten. The feeling of despair of these events will long reside in our hearts. Thoughts of anxiety that this may ever happen again will waken us from our pillows from time to time. During quiet reflection, we may ask ourselves if we did the right thing by resisting. Were we in the right when we acted to safeguard ourselves? When the only response to multiple pleas for help was silence? When we were left alone to clean our cuts and wounds, did we have divine right, duty, and obligation to protect our family and ourselves? We recall the many times we pleaded with the local government to protect us, the numerous times we called 911 and begged our sheriff to send his deputies to assist. Our cries of distress were met with silence. We ask ourselves, did we try hard enough to get our local government and law enforcement to act as a buffer and perform their duty to protect and serve? Were the hundreds of phone calls not enough? Or is it that that our elected leaders and our sheriff have forsaken the people in trade for power and money? We wholeheartedly want to believe that our sheriff would not abandon us. But where was he? Where was his shield of influence? And where has he been? Why was he not here to represent and protect the very women and children and men of this county that he swore an oath to? Why did he stand silent and neutral, knowing our community was in terror? What was his motivation of inaction? Was it fear of the federal government or political reprisal from powerful politicians? The scars of this traumatic event will heal over time. We hope our community will eventually return to a sense of normalcy. We fervently hope and pray that these heavy-handed tactics will not be used on us or any other Americans ever again. We wonder if our hopes will be in vain. Will they return? Will they come back with greater force and more cunning tactics than before? Will our sheriff keep his oath this time and use his lawful forces to stop them? Or will the people be left to their own protection? Will the good people of this nation yet again have to come running to the rescue of a neighbor? Will veterans, retired police forces, churches, businesses, families, and individuals have to unite once again to confront these acts of government terror upon the American people? Will our local government rouse themselves from disinfection of intervene and protect the people? Will they stop fearing to do what's right and come to the realization that the people are more important than the government? Will they fight for the rights of the state of her people? They must stop putting personal gain and advance in front of the rights of the citizens. They need to recognize that as our elected representatives, they have more power than those governing in brute force, as they have the might of the people in this state backing them. With that power we invest in them, they have the obligation to safeguard our livelihood, combat forces of fear, and protect our lives with their own. A few weeks ago, our community was in a state of innocence and naivety. We felt safe and mostly kept to ourselves. We thought the world's problem would only affect us through television and could be shut off with the push of a button. Our innocence has left us now. We have experienced firsthand the breath of force upon our necks. We have gasped in the desperation as our lives and agency were threatened. Our cries have been ignored by our guardians in the next room. We faced a choice: either lie down and submit helplessly in defeat, or bite, scratch, and fight until help would come. We are eternally and profoundly grateful for the many heroic neighbors who heard our desperate cries and crashed through the windows to rescue. We additionally thank the thousands that came from every state in this great nation and stood in front of raised guns in our defense, and for the hope that the same guns would never come to their doors and their families. We are grateful for those that arrived with pen and camera, those that arrived with faith and prayers, and those that arrived with fist and gun. The variety of support from all walks of life has shown that this was an event that truly touched the good hearts of many Americans. We cannot thank you enough. You have restored our faith in the goodness of the American people. Our message to all is that it is time to make things right. It is time to adhere to the supreme law of the land, the Constitution of the United States. It is time to understand right, stand for what's right, and do whatever it takes to make it right. We must continue the vision of our founding fathers in preserving the freedom of the American people and the sovereignty rights of the states. A nation can never abandon its fate to an authority it cannot control. Men must decide if their rights and freedoms are God-granted or assigned by the federal government. We believe the rule of law and sustain a limited government. May God bless all of us and protect this sacred instrument. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep going.
All right, I'm moving. Tyler.
Thank you for your service to our country, Ammon.
Rick Santilla?
Pete Santilla.
Pete Santilla, I'm sorry. How you doing?
Sorry. Not what you bargained for, right? Oh, sorry. Sorry about that, man. We need to file an official complaint.
Thank you, Ammon. Doing great. Thank you for your service to our country, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Bundy. Thank you for serving our country, sir, at the time when we need you most, sir. Thank you.
Tyler.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, led by the Bundy family, we're filing official criminal complaints against the BLM here at the Clark County Sheriff's Office. Looks like we have some excellent customer service going on here. Margaret, thank you for serving our country at a time when we need you most. Thank you so much. The Bundy family are great ambassadors for this cause of liberty. Thank you very much. Shauna, thank you for serving the United States of America at a time when we need you most.
Thanks for cooking me that delicious hamburger the other night.
United States of America, worldwide, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your courtesy, ma'am.
Well, you could see that through complaints, but it's in the way that I do it is it has to be tied with some of these people that happened today. As a person, an observer and a citizen who, because of what happened today, it is an implied threat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But this is really important right here.
It's a connection.
You know what? I'm definitely filing. Are you kidding me? Everybody here to file? Are you here to file? Are you present? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're filing right now, you're in line, I want to thank you. On behalf of all Americans who are watching this live stream, thank you for serving our country at a time when we need you most. Thank you so much. Thank you too, ma'am. Thank you
The statement we found on the wrong spot, and I apologize, I don't have a copy. It should be more
Are you here to file too, sir? Are you just a viewer?
I'm just here to support, but
You are?
yeah.
Fantastic. You know what? Can I get a comment from you? Yeah. Okay. And I did actually I've been with the Bundy crisis all along. You heard comments that were taken out of context. Did you hear the comments Mr. Bundy made last week?
Yes.
Okay. The references to slavery are extremely offensive. There's no doubt about it. Do you believe, as I do, that he was referencing a time frame of slavery and whether or not we're better off now than we were then? How did you take that?
Well, I took it like the way he said. He said a lot of people are taking that in perspective, like he was saying that he doesn't like blacks. He was saying the same way as the name, I forget what the name was, the lady that was on the bus, that she said that she was Parks. Rosa Parks. He said that Rosa Parks said she was no longer going to go to the back, that she was going to sit in the front. And that's what he did. He took a stand. He wasn't going to let the BLM just come over and take his cattle away from him. He was standing his ground. So a lot of people took it out of the perspective, like he was saying, he's against blacks. That's not what he was saying. He was saying is that he's not going to stand for people just coming in, just running over him. You know, the whole world tired of the government doing this right here. The government just been ripping and running, just doing it whatever they want to do to anybody, and no one said nothing. And I'm glad that Bundy's standing up for it.
Oh, yeah. You know, sir, and I mean this very sincerely. I would never, as a matter of fact, when I heard that he had made quote-unquote racist comments, I said, I'm not going to stand behind that. Then I wanted to find out what he actually said. And what I heard him say was that he asked the question, are we truly better off, after fighting our way all the way to this point, are we truly better off today than we were back at that time when we had a good family unit, we had good work ethic. Slavery is bad, of course, but are we really, through that entire struggle, even through the civil rights movement, are we better off today than we were back then? Do you believe that by doing this that we're going to become better off tomorrow?
No. It's going to be the same. It don't matter how you look at it, because as long as the government keep on just going through this world, just doing whatever they want to do, and no one's standing up for it, they're going to keep on pushing us until they can't push it no more. They're just going to lay flat on the ground, and that's what they want. That's right. And lucky enough for Mr. Bundy coming in, doing what he's doing, is saving the day. I'm hoping that this message right here go to everyone. You know, he's not against racism. You know, he's not no racist. And I believe
what he said. Do you believe he's fighting for your interests too?
Oh, he's fighting for everybody's interests. Mine, Mexicans, whites, Jews, Japanese, Puerto Ricans, everybody.
That's right.
You know, it's just that they figured that he's a mob because a lot of people came with guns and stuff and stood around it. Same thing the BLM do. They come up in there, they got guns and everything. You know, he's standing on his ground on his property. They comes along, they bring dogs and everything out there, tasers, you know, for what? You know, it didn't make any sense for them to do that.
That's right. Thank you very much, sir. Give your first name. Tell everyone. We're live streaming right now.
My first name is Julius.
Julius. What's your last name?
Last name Holmes.
Can you spell both those?
What's up, Holmes? Julius Holmes.
He said, what's up, Holmes?
What's up, Holmes? I'm not related to Larry Holmes or nothing.
Dude, thank you so much for serving your country at a time when we need you most. Your voice is really, really important right now, believe it or not, especially on that issue. Do you think, here's one last question, do you think the media took his words and spun it for their own benefit?
Yeah, oh, they did more than spun it. They spun it, twisted it, they took out some of the words and they added their own words. You know, that's how the government is. You know, you can say hello and they can take the word hell and make it say no. When you say hell no.
Yeah,
you know,
that's exactly right. Okay. Do you think we are the media? Do we need to get the word out? We need to share this message. We, the people, are the media to tell the truth.
That's the only time it's going to get out by other people besides the media coming in. Because the media will film this and edit it, and then they'll turn around and they'll write their own words. Yeah. So by us being the people, we know exactly what's going on, and we know exactly what to do about the problem.
That's right. All right, Holmes. Take care now. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julius.
Julius, real quick, why are you in favor of Bundy? Why are you support Bundy? Because the government, he's just been like, my mother and father, you know, they was back from they down from South, and you know, ever since they've been here, you know, they turn around. The government want them to cover the boat up in the yard. The government want them to cut the grass. The government want them to water the yard. If they pay their taxes and they do what they're supposed to do as Americans, then damn with it. You know, government leave everybody alone. So I believe that's why the government needs to stay his nose out of everybody's business, mind his own business.
Amen.
Oh yeah.